At least 13 people are dead this morning, including a deputy and a shooter, after that gunman opened fire in a crowded California bar. We'll share what we know in just minutes.
And Adams County voters are wondering when their new sheriff-elect will take office after his opponent in the race placed him on administrative leave.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Thursday, November 8th. Lots of news to get to, including that breaking news of that shooting in California. We will get to that in just a minute, but we wanted to start with a look at our forecast.
Yeah, the forecast just cold today.
Yeah, really
Everyone's
cold.
kind of talking about that chance for snow. That's coming tonight, probably after midnight here in Madison, so the snow's not going to bother you today. A lot of clouds lingering, though. The clouds just are not clearing from the area, so unfortunately, if you were looking for the sun today, doesn't look like we're going to see a lot of it. And we may see a few breaks in the clouds later on today, but otherwise it's just going to be a cold day. Temperatures will top only in the mid-30s, 36 for the high. That's exactly what we hit yesterday. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Show you what's happening here in southern Wisconsin. In the Madison area, things are still pretty quiet on the Beltline and in the downtown areas. No accidents to report this morning, which is always great news. Looks like you're still going at posted speeds heading into Madison.
You're going to have to keep an eye on that traffic tomorrow, I imagine, with just a little bit of a slick road possibility.
Might want to give yourself some extra time.
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
We want to start this morning in California, where at least 13 people again are dead after a mass shooting at a crowded college bar. That includes the gunman and a Ventura County deputy. The sheriff says Ron Hellis was a 29-year veteran of the force who planned to retire next year. Now, this shooting happened at a bar in Thousand Oaks. That's about 40 miles west of Los Angeles. Hundreds of people were reportedly in the Borderline Bar and Grill for a college country night. Pepperdine University confirms that some of its students were in the bar last night. We don't know anything about the conditions of the 10 or so others who were hurt in this shooting. We will continue to bring you updates throughout the hour.
Back in Wisconsin, the new sheriff-elect up in Adams County is still on administrative leave this morning. Current Sheriff Sam Wolin had put his opponent, Officer Brent York, on administrative leave just a month before the election. That came after the district attorney said there was new evidence showing York wasn't consistent in his testimony in a case about a jail attack from 2001. Sheriff Wolin was voted out of office on Tuesday, with York winning 52% of the vote. It's not clear how that situation will be resolved, but York has said he has meetings with the labor union and the sheriff's office while he's on leave. News 3 has reached out to the sheriff and the district attorney for comment. Neither one returned our requests.
Dane County's Board of Canvassers will meet today to certify vote totals. Those official numbers will be turned into the state and would be needed before any recount is requested. It appears, though, a recount will not happen, at least not in the governor's race. Scott Walker conceded to Governor-elect Tony Evers yesterday after the closest governor's race here in Wisconsin since the early 1960s. Evers says the governor was gracious when he spoke with him over the phone, and now he will be preparing for his transition into office. He appeared for the first time since winning Tuesday's election at the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County yesterday, saying he looks forward to putting his cabinet together and plans to look at diversity across the state with his staff in the near future. Evers will be sworn into office on Monday, January 7th. Now, Governor Walker has not spoken publicly since the election was called Wednesday morning, but in a statement released yesterday, he offered Evers the full support of his staff and cabinet as he begins the transition process. Walker said it has been an honor to serve as governor and, quote, "We've come a long way together, and it is my sincere hope that the progress we've made during our time in office will continue."
There appears to be a winner in the Attorney General's race this morning. Democratic challenger Josh Kaul took the podium yesterday to declare victory over incumbent Brad Schimmel. So far, counted votes have given Kaul a lead by just 1 percentage point. Kaul says he will ensure DNA matches from rape kits are fully investigated and that he'll be serious about holding pharmaceutical companies accountable in their role in the opioid epidemic. Kaul also said he'll work with Governor-elect Evers to withdraw from the multi-state lawsuit against the Affordable Care Act.
We are hearing from Senator Tammy Baldwin for the first time since winning her re-election. She told our very own Rose Schmidt one of her top priorities when she gets back to Washington will be improving the Affordable Care Act.
I think we have a real opportunity now to strengthen the healthcare system. Think about standing up to the pharmaceutical companies and bringing the price down for life-saving drugs like people's insulin or EpiPens.
Baldwin says before work on health care, she plans to pass the farm bill to help struggling dairy producers and all farmers here in Wisconsin. She hopes with Democrats now controlling the House, there can be more bipartisan work that gets done in Congress. You can find a full transcript of Rose's conversation with Senator Baldwin over on channel3000.com.
We have a new record here in Wisconsin for the number of people who voted in the midterms. Turnout topped out at more than 57%, making it the highest midterm turnout on record. Based on unofficial totals, nearly 2.7 million people cast ballots. Here in Madison, Mayor Soglin says the target for midterm turnout is usually around 75%. But the city set a new record itself this year with nearly 93% of pre-registered voters.
6:05 right now, and the Salvation Army here in Dane County, the annual Red Kettle campaign, it's hard to believe, kicks off tomorrow.
Already, but before the bell ringing even begins, the organization is worried they won't reach their fundraising benchmark this year. Christina Laurie is live at the Hy-Vee on Madison's west side, just one of the places volunteers will be stationed this holiday season, if they're actually signing up to do that. Right, Christina?
Exactly, ladies. As you said, the Red Kettle campaign officially kicks off tomorrow, but right now the organization is already short volunteers. They've only filled about 25% of the open spots. Now that could cause major problems for the Salvation Army, which relies on those volunteers to pay for many of its local services. On average, bell ringers raise $60 an hour during the holidays here in Dane County, and the local chapter of the Salvation Army says they need to raise at least $525,000 this holiday season. Anything they raise above that amount will provide even more services for people in the community, but if they don't hit that mark this holiday season, they'll have to come up with the money some other way.
What we'll do is we'll try to come up with other ways to raise more money. I mean, because we can't shut the shelter down because we're the only one. You know, we can't tell the kids that are in our after-school program you can't come because we don't have the money. We got to find the money someplace.
Steve says the kettles give everyone in the community an opportunity to give, support, and make a difference in so many people's lives. A really important lesson during the holiday season. He says that everyone has an hour or two to give. Now, this year, if you want to be a little bit smarter, proactive, maybe before the snow rolls in, you can pick an indoor location to volunteer. All Walgreens allow you to stand outside, but here at this Hy-Vee on Whitney Way, this will be heading outside starting tomorrow, but the silver lining, if you are brave enough to stand outside in the cold and ring bells this holiday season, Salvation Army says those volunteers are typically the ones that make the most money because people feel bad for them.
That's actually very funny. I never thought about that. Yeah, I guess so. Just, you know, bring some hot cocoa, grab a coffee from Starbucks in Hy-Vee, and you'll be good. Right, Christina?
Exactly. You might need a coat, and it's not as enjoyable for you, but you make more money, do more good. What could go wrong?
There you go. I mean, a lot. But we'll leave that up to the volunteers. Thank you so much, Christina Laurie, reporting live from the west side of town here.
All right, 6:08 your time now. We have a warning for parents with young kids in the house. We are talking with Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health this morning about why couches might be more dangerous to your kids than your stairs.
The couch is where you're going to find me today, hiding from more cold underneath a nice warm blanket inside. And guess what? There's more of those low temperatures heading our way. We will check in with Hattie's First Alert forecast when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning from the patio this morning. Not a lot of wind today, which is a nice change from yesterday, but it looks like we are going to see plenty of clouds as a storm system moves in from the west. Now let's take a look. Tomorrow is an alert day due to the potential for some accumulating snow. This will be the first measurable snow of the season, so while always exciting, it does bring a reminder that you may need to plan a little extra time tomorrow morning. The roads may be slippery. Now, we're not talking about a huge snow event for southern Wisconsin. Looks like around an inch here in Madison, maybe slightly higher amounts to the east, lighter amounts to the west. So again, nothing major snow amount-wise. However, it's enough to make the roads slippery. Keep in mind those bridges and overpasses will freeze more quickly. So your best plan of attack tomorrow would be to plan ahead and leave a little early so that you can slow down and drive according to the changing road conditions. Here's a look at our weather track map, which is across the Midwest section of the country. You can see some snow already developing across parts of Kansas and Nebraska this morning. That is the storm system that's heading in our direction. It will also combine with some energy coming out of Canada to bring some snow here to southern Wisconsin. We have not seen much clearing with the clouds overnight, still under a deck of low clouds here in the southern part of the state, and it looks like that will stay put through the day. Temperatures are slowly dropping this morning, but not as much as expected yesterday with the clearing trend that we had in the forecast. So with clouds, we're starting out around 30 in most spots this morning. No wind chill to factor in this morning. Winds are from the northwest, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour, but generally not too strong. Here's a look at your current wind chills if you're concerned about that. Wind chills are generally in the low to mid 20s in most spots this morning. Here's a look at your future track forecast model. It does keep a lot of clouds in the area with temperatures slowly warming this morning, only back into the mid 30s by lunchtime, and that'll pretty much be the high for the day, mid 30s in most spots. There may be a short window for some clearing late this afternoon, but clouds will spread back in as the snow approaches from the west. By midnight, we're looking at light snow spreading across southern Wisconsin. It will be snowing as you head to work and school tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind. As we head towards the afternoon, it transitions to scattered snow showers and flurries. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. It's definitely going to be cold enough for snow for the next several days. We don't see any big warm-ups in the near future. No major snowstorms either, just flurry chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning with Jason Ryan. Good morning, Jason.
Hello. There's mild crowding at the Stoughton and Verona Road interchanges. Otherwise, it's all good so far on the Beltline as motorists are moving at the posted speed limit. Driving into Madison is clear for commuters now, although it could become busier later this morning. Moving downtown, we see roads are mostly clear as of now on John Nolan near North Shore, and there's slight congestion at the intersection of East Wash and North Blair Street. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. Thank you, Hattie. 6:14 your time now. If you have young kids in the house, you probably know it's easy for them to get a few bumps and scratches from running around and falling.
Yeah, absolutely. But new research shows there's a growing number of kids getting injured on soft surfaces that may not seem so dangerous. Our medical expert, Dr. Mandira Mera with SSM Health, joins us this morning to talk about maybe how to prevent some of those injuries. I mean, something else for parents to think about. That's the first thing I thought of here, you know, just something else, because we're talking about cushions, couches, beds this time.
Right, and it's funny because, like you said, there's already so much to think about. You know, let's vaccinate, let's this, let's that, let's cushion the world.
Right.
These are already cushioned things. I mean, literally, we're talking about sofas and beds. So what the study looked at here is parents often know, okay, the stairs are a huge hazard. So they guard it, they rail it, different things like that. But just for a second, 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds are maybe left unattended, or perhaps they crawl up on the couch, they crawl up on the bed, and then they're suffering these injuries. It's becoming more and more common. There's been an almost 16 to 20% increase just over the past couple of years.
Wow.
And what we're seeing in emergency rooms is facial injuries, head injuries from children having exactly these incidences. It's not the falling down the stairs, it's falling off these softer, cushioned areas. And so the recommendation here is, of course, never leave your child unattended if they're on a sofa, on a bed. Unlike, of course, us, where we can climb down and we know what not to do. You know, children are curious and perhaps a little mischievous. Another interesting thing here is boys and girls were almost equal. Boys were a little bit higher, about 56%, but for the most part, you know, children are children.
Right.
So sofas, they're saying, the American Academy of Pediatrics is saying maybe furniture companies can do a better job with warnings, but what exactly will they say here? That all couches, don't let kids climb them? I mean, some of this is intuitive, but just a nice reminder for parents.
Absolutely.
We're also following a study this morning that's good news for us, the fact that folks who wake up earlier may have a lower risk of breast cancer, right?
Finally, some good news for those early risers. I know it doesn't always feel good to get up super early, but this was a study out of British Cancer Society that looked at over 400,000 women, and what it looked at was night owls versus the morning people. And the morning people actually had about a 40% less chance of developing breast cancer. Now, this doesn't mean suddenly change your sleep habits, become a morning person, although there may be some other health advantages to that, but this does show that we need more study. We need to see what is it about people that are predispositioned, or is it their jobs, or is it their lifestyles that makes them early morning risers, and then why is it that they had that 40% less breast cancer risk? Or is it the opposite? Is it the people that are night owls that work night shifts? We already know that that kind of work does lead to increased cancers, does lead to increased health problems. So it may actually just be the opposite, that maybe the night owls may be hurting themselves. So don't go out there and change your sleep habits and think, okay, I'm never going to have breast cancer, but just an interesting study that we need a little bit more data on.
It is interesting, just a little tidbit, but yeah, it is important to remember.
40% is significant.
It's significant. 400,000 people, 400,000 women were looked at, so not a small volume study, and definitely something that we can maybe take into consideration in our life. That fragmented sleep definitely hurts the body, so the more restful, whole, comprehensive sleep we can get, you know, I know we can all take this advice, the better for all of us.
All right.
All right. Well, interesting stuff this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
6:18 right now, and there are only going to be more jobs in the technology field, right? So if you are a self-proclaimed computer whiz, maybe you should make that title official. We will tell you about the super unique master's degree you can earn at the UW, at least as much as Leah and I can understand about the degree. That's coming up.
And thanks to daylight savings time, we are seeing the sun before 7 a.m. again. Just starting to peak up there. Hattie says it's not going to warm us up, though, today. She's in next when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning from the News 3 First Alert Weather Center. We have a cloudy start this morning across southern Wisconsin. Live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. I have the camera pointed to the east, but we're not seeing any sunrise this morning. A low deck of clouds keeping temperatures right around 30. If those clouds had cleared, it would be quite a bit colder this morning. But it's 31 here in Madison, 34 in Janesville, 29 though in Platteville and Prairie du Chien. Winds are light this morning, so unlike the last couple of days, we're not talking about a wind chill factor today. As we head to the bus stop though, grab that winter gear. It's going to be a cold day again. Cloudy skies and chilly conditions heading off to school. Not much warmer heading home. 36 is our high today. There may be a few breaks in the clouds later on this afternoon. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Madison College is celebrating students who are the first to go to college and their families later today. Starting at 10 o'clock this morning, the school will host a resource fair at the Truax campus, and then at 11:30, the Director of Financial Support Services will talk about his struggles with being a first-generation college student himself. There will also be current students available to talk about their experiences being the first people in their families to pursue higher education.
It's not exactly rocket science, but something pretty close that master's students at UW-Madison will be the first in the country to study. UW is launching a new master's degree in quantum computing. If you're wondering what that is, don't feel bad. We were too. It's a field of technology that deals in encryption and security online. And companies like Google, Microsoft, and Intel need more graduates who get it. UW's master's program is 1 year long, and it'll be the only second quantum computing degree like this in the world. If you're interested, the physics department is taking applications for the fall 2019 semester.
The U.S. Surgeon General who promised to take on the opioid epidemic across the country will be here in Madison later today. Vice Admiral Dr. Jerome Adams will be part of a panel discussion this afternoon with representatives from SSM Health and UW Health. Now, Adams was appointed as Surgeon General by President Trump last year, and since then he is focused on looking at ways to provide affordable health care and making sure businesses understand how to invest in the health of their employees and their communities at large. Now, leaders in population health in that field, along with a representative from the Dane County Health Council, will participate in that panel this afternoon. It starts at 3 o'clock at the Edgewater Hotel.
6:24 your time now. Reports say Foxconn is starting to hire overseas for its new facility in Racine County, even though it has to fill work quotas to get state tax incentives.
We will share more about their response, and businesses in downtown Madison are getting behind the idea to study whether more alcohol on State Street would mean more violence in that area. The day's top stories are after the break on News 3 this morning.
Foxconn says it still plans to keep its promise of hiring thousands of Wisconsin workers, despite reports they're turning to Chinese employees instead.
And starting tomorrow, the Salvation Army's annual Red Kettle campaign kicks off here in Dane County. I'll explain the volunteer shortage they're facing and how you can help.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:28 now on this Thursday, November 8th, and Christina is clearly way more prepared for winter weather and the holidays than I am with that adorable little scarf she's got on.
I know. Hattie McLean also very prepared with her hat and scarf and coat and gloves and whatever else she could dig out of the old winter stash, right, Hads?
That's right. You'd be prepared if you have to stand outside in the morning as well. It's pretty chilly outside this morning, but luckily for us, we don't have much of a wind chill to factor in this morning, so that's the good news. The bad news is that, well, depending on how you look at it, we have some snow in the forecast coming tonight into Friday. An alert day has been issued. This snow is going to impact the morning commute tomorrow, so plan ahead right now. You may need to have a little extra time to get to your destination tomorrow. But this morning, things are just quiet. It's very cloudy outside. Temperatures are in the upper 20s and low 30s. Thanks to that cloud cover, we actually have milder temperatures this morning. If those clouds had cleared, we'd be down in the low and mid 20s. Here's a look at our temperatures over the next 12 hours. Not much of a climb today, only back to a high of 36 this afternoon. It's about where we were yesterday, but there won't be as much of a wind. Southwesterly wind anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. So far, things have been pretty good across the area, and that trend continues right now. We're not seeing any major delays on the Beltline or in the downtown areas. No accidents to report either at this time, so it looks like you're going at posted speeds heading into Dane County. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, Hattie, thank you so much. Foxconn is now denying a report that says the Taiwanese tech company plans to staff its Wisconsin plants with workers from China. The company said it is prioritizing hiring Wisconsin workers and employees from the United States. This comes after the Wall Street Journal reported Foxconn's having a tough time finding the engineers it needs for its new massive plant in Racine County, and the company is trying to get some of its Chinese staff to move here. Some say the company may be having hiring issues as Wisconsin sees record low unemployment. Others are concerned that Foxconn may divert labor from local Wisconsin businesses. Governor-elect Tony Evers has been critical of the record-breaking tax incentive package that Governor Walker offered to Foxconn, saying the hundreds of millions of dollars should go toward other state needs.
Police have a reminder out about pulling off on the side of the road after a deadly crash on the interstate yesterday morning. The Wisconsin State Patrol says a man was trying to change a flat tire around 4 a.m. yesterday when a semi hit him on the shoulder of I-90 outside Edgerton. Officers aren't releasing the man's name yet, but they say he lived in Illinois and he was in his 50s. Police are warning other drivers to be extremely careful when you're trying to find a place to pull over and get out of your car. Some school bus drivers up in Sauk County are working to make sure they're keeping kids safe during pickup and drop-off times. Lamers is holding a safety meeting in Spring Green today to go through how to safely let children on and off the bus. In just the last week, a 9-year-old and her 6-year-old twin brothers were killed while crossing the street to their bus stop in Indiana. A driver fatally hit a 9-year-old boy in Mississippi, and a bus driver found the body of a 7-year-old on the side of the road by his house in Pennsylvania before school. Today's meeting is a reminder to the rest of us to make a full stop when the red stop sign is out on any school bus.
If you are driving through or to the Wisconsin Dells, I should say, you may notice more officers out on the roads over the next year or so. The Dells Police Department and other law enforcement agencies in Columbia County are stepping up their alcohol-related traffic enforcement with a zero-tolerance policy. That is set to run through September of next year. The Columbia County Task Force was awarded a grant to pay for overtime on holidays and weekends, in particular for officers focused on pulling over impaired drivers. Here in Madison, the number of robberies in the city is still up compared to last year. According to the latest numbers released by Madison Police Chief Mike Koval, the city had 23 reported robberies last month, bringing the total this year to 212. That's 20 more than the same time period last year. Chief Koval will present those stats and other updates from the department to the Public Safety Review Committee this evening.
The Chamber of Commerce that represents downtown Madison businesses is officially supporting the idea the city should study heavy drinking. The city is still being sued by the company that owns Taco Bell after Mayor Soglin vetoed a liquor license for a State Street location. Mayor Soglin has pushed for a moratorium on new alcohol licenses downtown. He claims excessive drinking leads to an increase in violence in that area. Less than 2 weeks ago, a 21-year-old man was shot and killed in the State Street campus parking ramp. In a letter to city leaders, Downtown Madison Incorporated says it supports a deeper look at bar density in the area that surrounds that ramp.
The Salvation Army's iconic Red Kettle campaign starts tomorrow, and already the organization here in Dane County is having a tough time finding bell ringers.
Only 1/4 of the shifts are full so far, so the Salvation Army is asking you for help. Christina Laurie is live at one of the bell ringing locations on Madison's west side with how you can do that. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah and Danica. For every hour a bell ringer spends standing outside a grocery store this holiday season, they collect an average of $60 in donations. Now, that might not seem like a whole lot, but it's enough to fund a 3-night stay at one of the area's shelters. This year, the organization is making some changes to make volunteering even easier for you. They're shortening volunteer shifts to 1 hour at all Walgreens bell ringing locations so people can bring their kids along with them. Those shifts are now indoors rather than outside. The Salvation Army struggled to find enough volunteers this time last year, too. They were still able to raise $500,000, though, leading people who work for the organization to imagine how much good they could do with even more help.
And last year we did $525,000 with a quarter of the shifts, that were full. So imagine what we could do if we just doubled that and only had half of the shifts full. But we average about $60 an hour at a Kettle location. So if you came out and volunteered, everybody says, well, I wish I could do more. Well, if you just gave an hour, that's $60. That's 3 nights in the shelter for homeless single women.
The Salvation Army has a brand new website this year, ringbellsdane.org. We have a link on our website, channel3000.com. It'll show you every bell ringing location in the county if you're interested in volunteering. Kettle Pass pins are back this year, too. You can buy these pins in amounts of $20, $50, or $100. And the point is that it can cut down on some of that guilt for you if you don't carry cash or change around with you. So you can still feel like you're chipping in, and you will have, but you don't have to always have something on you.
All right, Christina, I happen to know you are definitely in the holiday mood a little early this year. Are you going to volunteer?
I definitely will. It's a very easy way to contribute. Just the Salvation Army said even if you just have an hour or two, you can spend that chipping in. It's a great way to get in the holiday spirit. I had my red and green on this morning.
That's right. Great way to give back too. All right, Christina Laurie reporting live for us. Thank you, Christina.
6:35 right now. We are following the developing story that is of a mass shooting at a California bar with the latest number of people killed at 13 right now. That includes the gunman and a deputy. We'll have an update in the morning sprint.
And we are hoping for back-to-back wins for the Badgers this weekend with a new quarterback at the helm. We'll look ahead to the Penn State game when News 3 This Morning returns. Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us here on the program. And Amber posted this picture on Facebook earlier this week. This is in Lancaster. I thought we needed a little bit of color.
Sure.
Nice little rainbow, some green in the grass. Since it's looking a little gray out there and we're expecting some white, why not enjoy this lovely photo?
Yeah, definitely. The pumpkin's thrown in too. It's a really nice shot.
Thanks for sharing, Amber.
What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Please use that hashtag MyNews3Morning. Leah and I find it that way and can share our favorites right here on the program. So we now know who the Badgers will be starting at quarterback this weekend when they face Penn State in Happy Valley. Backup Jack Cohen is expected to start as Alex Hornibrook is still questionable due to a head injury. The sophomore struggled a bit in the loss against Northwestern a couple weeks ago, but did okay coming in to relieve Hornibrook against Rutgers last week. Kickoff is 11 a.m. Saturday on the road against the Nittany Lions, who are 3-3 in the conference so far this season.
The Packers are planning a big party to welcome another great into the Packers Hall of Fame. Former Executive Vice President and General Manager Ted Thompson will have his legacy preserved as part of Packers history during the 49th Annual Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Thompson had said he had a hard time believing it was true after thinking about all the great players that have come through the program. He says they are his idols, and he's just a scout. Thompson's accomplishments include 9 playoff seasons, a Super Bowl win in 2011, and drafting Aaron Rodgers, which the Hall of Fame president calls, quote, obviously one of the most important draft picks in Packers history. The induction ceremony is scheduled for May. All right, 6:40 your time now. We have been reminded almost every day this week that it's time to break out the winter coat. I have to admit, I haven't done it yet.
Dig it out.
You better believe, though, I brought in that fleece blanket this morning. Patty's got your Thursday forecast coming up after the break.
First, though, if you have a kid turning 3 soon, let us know so we can show off their picture on TV. And thank you for watching News 3 This Morning.
Welcome back. A week after engineers started preparing for winter lake levels around Madison, a committee will meet later today to talk about the high water.
Yeah, specifically, Dane County's Lake and Watershed Commission is talking about the work group that's studying ways to permanently bring down lake levels and prevent future flooding. There's some concern about ice damaging and eroding shorelines once this water freezes in the winter. And on top of that, there may not be room for runoff when the ice melts next spring if lake levels stay abnormally high. There's also a toll-free hotline for anyone who might need legal advice from after this summer's flooding. That includes issues with insurance claims, repair contracts, maybe help replacing legal documents that were ruined. You can call the number on your screen there from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's 877-947-5291.
Speaking of high water, News 3 meteorologist Dave Caulfield sat down with climate experts at the UW to talk about whether flooding like we saw this summer will become more common across southern Wisconsin. The short answer is probably, and it has to do with how warm the air is here. You can catch Dave's full report tonight on News 3 at 10. Luckily, no rain in the forecast for today, Hattie, but we do have some flurries in store.
That's right. Yeah, we don't have any rain in the forecast. It's cold enough for snow around here, and we've issued an alert day for the area for Friday. Some light snow will start overnight tonight and continue through Friday, especially in the morning. Now, around an inch is expected across southern Wisconsin here in Madison, maybe lighter amounts to the west, but again, it will be enough to just make those roads a little bit slick tomorrow morning, so plan ahead. Here's a look at Doppler track. We're already noticing some snow developing across the Plains states, especially parts of Nebraska and Kansas this morning. It will be working its way eastward through the day today. There are winter weather bulletins in effect for this particular storm. It's a winter weather advisory with a few counties under a winter storm warning across parts of Nebraska. No advisories in effect for us here in southern Wisconsin, but it's looking more likely that this is going to be the first measurable snow of the season. So here's a look at future track forecast model. Again, the storm system to the south, combining with some energy moving out of Canada, will bring snow to southern Wisconsin tonight. Now, probably after 10 or 11 o'clock, that snow will spread into the region and then continue through the morning hours, turning more towards scattered snow showers and flurries then as we head through the afternoon. Lots of cold air associated with this system, though, so it's definitely going to be cold enough to fall as all snow from this particular storm. A live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam. We have daylight now, but no sunshine this morning. Skies are cloudy here. Take a look at temperatures across the upper Midwest. 31 right now in Madison, but a lot of cold air in place. Temperatures are in the teens across the northern plains this morning. We'll be in the teens come Saturday morning. Temperatures elsewhere across our region, 29 in the Dells, 29 as well in Platteville. Janesville's the warm spot this morning at 34 degrees. Luckily, though, winds are light, so no wind chill to factor in today. Here's a look at your pinpoint city forecast. Pretty quiet through the day today. There may be a few breaks in the clouds this afternoon, but 36 is all we can muster in Middleton. 37 in Evansville. To the west, temperatures are expected to be very similar. 36 in Prairie du Chien as well as Fenimore. And to the north, we're looking at mid-30s. Poinnette tops at 36, Montello at 35. Now again, that snow spreads into the area late tonight. Here is 11 o'clock. That snow just starting to move into southwestern Wisconsin. It spreads quickly across the entire area, and it will likely be snowing through the morning commute tomorrow, so plan a little extra time. The snow then tapers off as we go through the day on Friday. Amounts are expected to generally be around an inch or less, especially in southwestern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have cold temperatures that are going to stick around right through next week. In fact, I don't even have highs back to 40 until Friday next week. Here's a look at our pet walk forecast. Oh. Willie and Kyle, there's so much fur on one of them that you can hardly notice the little kitten in the corner. But fur's a good thing, I guess, right now.
Right.
You need it to stay warm.
Most definitely.
They have the right idea, curling up inside, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
The morning sprint's coming up next right here on News 3 This Morning.
6:51, time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says there's a possibility for flurries in the near future.
Christina Laurie is talking about the Red Kettle campaign and a volunteer shortage that could mean the Salvation Army doesn't raise the money it actually needs. But we start this morning in California, where at least 13 people are dead following a mass shooting at a crowded college bar overnight. That includes the gunman and a Ventura County deputy. The sheriff says that 29-year veteran of the force died a hero when he went into the bar to confront the shooter. There were reportedly hundreds of people at the Borderline Bar and Grill for a college country night. About 10 other people were hurt, but we don't know anything about their conditions. President Trump just tweeted that he has been briefed on the situation.
Back in Wisconsin, the new sheriff-elect up in Adams County is still on administrative leave this morning. Current Sheriff Sam Wolin had put his opponent, Officer Brent York, on administrative leave just a month before the election. That's after the DA there said there was new evidence showing York wasn't consistent in his testimony in a case from 2001 about a jail attack. It's not clear how that situation will be resolved after Sheriff Wolin was voted out of office yesterday. The sheriff and the DA did not respond to requests for comment.
Dane County's Board of Canvassers will meet today to certify vote totals from Tuesday. Those official numbers will then be turned into the state and would be needed before any recount is requested. It appears, though, that's not going to happen, at least not in the governor's race. Scott Walker conceded to Governor-elect Tony Evers yesterday after the closest governor's race here in Wisconsin since the early 1960s.
Evers will now start preparing for his transition into office. That includes putting a cabinet together. He appeared for the first time since winning Tuesday's election at the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County yesterday. He says he's looking for diversity across the state during his transition process. He'll be sworn into office on Monday, January 7th.
Attorney General Brad Schimmel says he will not concede to his opponent until all votes are counted and confirmed. Josh Call declared victory in that race yesterday. As of right now, Call does have a 1% lead. He says he will ensure DNA matches from rape kits are fully investigated and that pharmaceutical companies will be held accountable for their role in the opioid epidemic.
A cloudy and cool start to this Thursday morning. Take a look at the satellite and radar combined this morning. Clouds across the entire area. We may see a few breaks later on today, but generally just a chilly day. As you head out the door, temperatures will be right around 30 this morning, climbing only a few degrees to a high of 36 this afternoon. Light snow starts late tonight.
Thank you, Hattie. Madison police are asking for the public's help finding a man who robbed an East Side bank earlier this week. You're looking at surveillance pictures from Tuesday night's robbery at the Associated Bank on Shopco Drive. The robber in that situation walked up to the bank counter, passed a note to the teller, and left with cash. He did not show any sort of gun, but you're asked to call police if you recognize him.
Police are looking into a similar robbery that happened the very next day to see whether the two incidents are connected. This one happened at the Associated Bank on Odana Road. Around 4:45 yesterday, a robber reportedly passed a note to a clerk before leaving that bank with cash. Again, the robber didn't show the employee any weapon. No one was hurt.
Police are reminding and urging all of us to be extremely careful if we need to pull over on a busy highway after a man was killed changing a flat tire on the side of the interstate. The Wisconsin State Patrol says an Illinois man was trying to change that tire around 4 a.m. yesterday when a semi hit him on the shoulder of I-90 just outside Edgerton.
Foxconn is denying a report that says the Taiwanese tech company plans to staff its Wisconsin plants with workers from China. The company said it is prioritizing hiring Wisconsin workers. This comes in response to an article from the Wall Street Journal that said Foxconn is asking some of its staff in China to move to fill engineering positions here. Some say the company might be having hiring issues because of Wisconsin's record low unemployment rate right now.
It's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas across Dane County with the Salvation Army's annual Red Kettle campaign kicking off across the area tomorrow. But this year, they're facing a volunteer shortage, struggling to recruit bell ringers. Bell ringers average an average of $60 an hour in donations. That's enough money to pay for someone to spend 3 nights in their shelter. Volunteers must be at least 16 years old to ring alone, but parents are allowed to bring their kids along with them. There are 1- and 2-hour shifts available. You can register to ring at ringbellsdane.org. We have that link posted on the homepage of our website, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Christina. Speaking of the holidays, 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, that's where we're at right now. And the National Retail Federation says holiday spending will likely increase 4 to 5% this year compared to last. That'll be a grand total of more than $720 billion over the holiday season. The Federation's president says that's thanks to a healthy economy and strong consumer confidence, despite some of the impacts of an ongoing trade war.
Lots of old-fashioned drinking and kringle crunching happening up in Stevens Point today. That's where communities from across the state are celebrating the best parts of our Midwestern culture at the Wisconsin Fall Tourism Conference. It's an opportunity for organizations to learn more about how to better market their hometowns, with seminars on things like social media, the best of Airbnb, and how to make the most of a small budget.
6:56 right now. Let's take one more check on traffic with Jason Stone this morning. Hi, Jason.
Hello. No issues on the Beltline as drivers are moving along well. The heaviest volume is on the exit ramps for Stoughton and Verona Road. Light traffic is forming on John Nolan at the Rimrock intersection in all directions, and it's getting busier around North Shore Drive. Traffic is growing at the intersection of East Wash and North Stoughton, and drivers on Verona Road are having some delay at the Highway PD intersection. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thanks, Jason.
It is cloudy this morning as you head out the door early today. Temperatures are right around 30 degrees, climbing just a few degrees to highs 36 this afternoon. Maybe a few breaks in the clouds later on, but light snow is in the forecast tonight. Tomorrow is an alert day. We're looking at around an inch of accumulation, but it will impact the morning commute.
Good reminder, just take it slow tomorrow. Grab your winter coat. Make sure you download that First Alert Traffic and Weather app as you head out today so you can keep an eye on those flurries. Coming up this morning on CBS This Morning, we'll have the latest on the mass shooting out of California. Stay tuned and have a good Thursday.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.